It's your man Alex, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my second ever attempt at a completely free-handed self-haircut using absolutely no guards. So let's get right into it. So to start off with this free-handed self-haircut, I'm using my $20 Glaker trimmers, and I'm just putting in that first bald guideline, going all the way around my head, and I'm kind of making it somewhat in between, like a mid fade to a low fade, dropping it right toward the occipital ridge on the back of my head, so somewhere around, yeah, like a low or mid fade, and then bringing it up on both sides and double checking with the mirrors, of course, to make sure that both sides are even and one side isn't higher or lower than the other side. So now comes the absolute hardest part of the entire self haircut, which is the free-handed portion. Now I'm going in with my no guard lever open, and I'm telling you, if you're going to try this at home, please be very patient with yourself. I don't recommend this for anybody that isn't already at the advanced level for cutting your own hair. If you're a beginner or an intermediate, I'm sorry, this is not for you. And the reason why I say so is because you really need to have the utmost control with your hands, with your wrist motions. You need to know how to guide the clipper against your head. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm certainly not. I'm definitely still learning. Again, this is only the second ever attempt, right? I could mess up in the next one, who knows? Or I could do really well in the next one, who knows? But again, it's a very hard skill to acquire. So if you're not advanced, don't do it. Please don't do it. Now, with that being said, right, that's like my big disclaimer. Big disclaimer alert. Beep, beep, beep. All right. When you are going up, you want to initially start by cutting the hair with the lever open, and let the blades hit the beginning of the hard line, right where you see the hair start to get really thick. Cut it like normal, and then as you go up your head, you want to very slowly adjust and tilt the clipper upward. So you want to angle it going slightly away from your scalp and move up your head at the same exact time. So it's kind of like doing thinning shear over comb, how you slowly bring the comb up while you slowly cut with the scissors. So it's like two things at the same exact time. But with this, with the freehand, you're going up with the clipper very slowly, but you're also slightly tilting the blade away from your head at the same exact time. So it's very challenging, and the hardest part is making every single swipe of the clipper the same as the previous one, right? There's a lot of inconsistencies, as you guys can clearly see. It's very inconsistent, and that's why, you know, cutting your hair with guards is really easy. It's supposed to make the haircuts more consistent. That's the whole purpose of them, and they work fantastic. But again, this is like the free-handed self haircut. To me, this is like a journey or a test that I'm willing to take, no matter how badly I fail or how well I do. It's a risk that I'm willing to take just to test my limits, you know? Maybe you could say, Alex, you're bored, and that's why you're doing it. Or maybe I just want a new challenge, and that's why I'm taking it on. So for you guys, it's a good idea to give it a shot if you're willing to try it, to, you know, reduce the haircut time and try a new way of cutting your own hair. But again, it is challenging, and every swipe that I'm taking with the clipper, every single one of them is just not the same. Every single one of them is uneven. It's disconnected. The blends don't look the same, so I have to go back and retouch them up, and it's just really tough. It's really tough. Again, second ever attempt, but if I keep doing this, and this is good advice if you are a beginner, if I keep doing this, even though I'm not good at it, and I will eventually get really good at it. That's what I'm saying. So if you're a beginner at cutting your own hair, you don't even know how to use a clipper in your hand, like, just know that I was a beginner at one point, and clearly with the free-handed technique, I am a beginner as well. So I'm a beginner just like you're a beginner. We're just beginners on different levels, if that makes sense. So right here within the self haircut, I'm just blending in that first hard line, or technically it's like the only real hard line, I would say, by going back and adjusting the lever. So I have the no guard lever halfway, that's going to soften up the bottom hard line, and then I'm going in again with the lever closed and then flicking out that bottom hard line, which would create the nice blend from the skin into that darker hair on the sides and back. So now for what you guys know is my favorite part of every self haircut, I'm going in with the thinning shear over comb technique to blend in the longer hair by my part line into the faded portion on the sides and back. So again, I've got my thinning shears going up with that slow comb motion. So again, when I was mentioning earlier in the video how the freehanding motion with the clipper is very similar to the thinning shear over comb, I'm slowly bringing up the comb up my head as I'm pulling up the hairs, and I'm also simultaneously cutting slowly going up with the thinning shears. So it's going up with the comb and then going up and cutting at the same time with the thinning shears. Only with the clipper, you're obviously risking way more, and your ability to cut a lot of hair by accident is a lot higher. So it's way riskier to do the freehanding technique with clippers, obviously, than it is thinning shear over comb, because thinning shears only cut like 20 to 25% of the hair anyway. So make sure you're going in to blend in the hair. Thinning shears are honestly one of the best tools you can purchase. They're maybe $10 on Amazon. You can get a nice scissor set for like 15 to 20 bucks. So you get thinning shears and hair cutting scissors for like $15 to $20, and it's phenomenal. Stainless steel, very high quality. I've had the same exact pair for years, so they won't get dull on you, and I'm really happy with them, given that they're only $20 or less. Now I'm going in with what I call the reverse thinning shear method. It's a term that I've coined and I've discovered myself while I was cutting my own hair. One day I was like, you know what? I'm seeing a lot of hard lines. What's like a unique way that I can go ahead and remove them? Because for some reason the clippers weren't working that day. So I decided to grab my thinning shears and I flipped them upside down, and then I just started attacking the hard lines with the thinning shears, just like point cutting at the hard line. And lo and behold, it got rid of a really nice portion of the line. So anytime I ever see flaws within the fade, lots of bulkiness in the blend, it's not looking too good, I go ahead and use the reverse thinning shear method and just cut directly into the fade wherever I see any imperfections. And so now I'm going in with my hair cutting scissors, and I'm just going in to blend the top into the fade on the sides and back a little bit better. I noticed that because I have really thick hair, it tends to look a little bit clumpy and the shape just looks odd. So I just decided to go in and trim off the edges just a little bit on the top so that it blended a little bit smoother with the hair by my part line. Now usually, and you guys would probably know this, I always recommend wetting your hair first, especially if you have hair like me, thick, coarse or wavy hair, especially dark hair. I always recommend you wetting it first down to the roots and then cut it with hair cutting scissors. But in this case, because I'm really just blending it in a little bit better so that the shape looks good, just by connecting the sides by the part line all the way around my head. Because I'm just doing that, I didn't feel like it was too necessary. I didn't really want to wet my hair completely, and so I didn't. So I took I guess the easy way out and just, went for it because, I trust my abilities. Now, again, because I've got really thick hair and because it looked a little bit bulky with the fade, I was like, you know what? Let me just go in, pull my hair up with the comb and point cut a little bit, add a little bit of texture while simultaneously removing some of that weight as well, just to make my hair a little bit softer, a little bit lighter, easier to run my hands through, so it's not like I'm digging my hands through a forest and it's just like getting stuck on thorn bushes, right? So going in, just point cutting a little bit, softening it up, adding a tiny bit of texture, making it easier to run my hands through so that it ultimately blends better and has a better shape with the fade. And so now, to put the cherry on top of this free-handed self haircut, go ahead and grab your trimmers and give yourself a clean lineup, a crispy lineup. Again, this is like the added touches, the cherry on top of an ice cream, and it just makes everything come together. And there's nothing better than having crispy lines on a fresh new haircut. This is my take on a free-handed fade self haircut. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the final look and any other self haircut recommendations you'd like to see me try next. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. And if you're ready to take your self haircut game to the next level, check out the links in the description below.